The banded mongoose is a mongoose commonly found in the central and eastern parts of Africa. It lives in savannas, open forests and grasslands and feeds primarily on beetles and millipedes. Mongooses use various types of dens for shelter including termite mounds. While most mongoose species live solitary lives, the banded mongoose live in colonies with a complex social structure. Physical characteristics. The banded mongoose is a sturdy mongoose with a large head, small ears, short, muscular limbs and a long tail, almost as long as the rest of the body. Animals of wetter areas are larger and darker colored than animals of dry regions. The abdominal part of the body is higher and rounder than the breast area. The rough fur is grayish-brown, and there are several dark brown to black horizontal bars across the back. The limbs and snout are darker, while the underparts are lighter than the rest of the body. Banded mongooses have long, strong claws that allow them to dig in the soil. An adult animal could reach a length of 30 to 45 centimeters and a weight of 1.5 to 2.25 kilograms. The tail is 15 to 30 centimeters long. Range and ecology. The banded mongoose is found in a large part of East, Southeast and South-Central Africa. There are also populations in the northern savannas of West Africa. The banded mongoose lives in savannas, open forests and grassland, especially near water, but also in dry, thorny bushland but not deserts. The species uses various types of dens for shelter, most commonly termite mounds. They will also live in rock shelters, thickets, gullies, and warrens under bushes. Mongooses prefer multi-entranced termite area with open thicket, averaging 4 meters from the nearest shelter, located in semi-closed woodland. In contrast to the den of the dwarf mongoose, banded mongoose dens are less dependent on vegetation cover and have more entrances. Banded mongooses live in larger groups than dwarf mongooses, and this more entrances means more members have access to the den and ventilation. The development of agriculture in the continent has had a positive influence on the number of banded mongooses. The crops of the farmland serve as an extra food source. Food and foraging. Banded mongoose feed primarily on insects, myriapods, small reptiles, and birds. Millipedes and beetles made of most of their diet, but they also commonly eat ants, crickets, termites, grasshoppers, caterpillars and earwigs. Other prey items of the mongoose includes frogs, lizards, small snakes, ground bird and the eggs of both birds and reptiles. On some occasions, mongooses will drink water from rain pools and lake shores. Banded mongoose forage in groups, but each member searches for food alone. They forage in the morning for several hours and then rest in the shade. They will usually forage again in the late afternoon. Mongooses use the sense of smell to locate the prey and dig them out with their long claws, both in holes in the ground and holes in trees. Mongoose will also frequent near the dung of large herbivores since they attract beetles. Low grunts are produced every few seconds for communication. Mongoose also feed individually and are not cooperative feeders. When hunting prey that secrete toxins, mongooses will roll them on the ground. Durable prey is thrown on hard surfaces. Social behavior. Banded mongooses live in mixed-sex groups of 7 to 40 individuals. Groups sleep together at night in underground dens, often abandoned termite mounds, and change dens frequently. When no refuge is available and hard-pressed by predators such as wild dogs, the group will form a compact arrangement in which they lie on each other with heads facing outwards and upwards. There is generally no strict hierarchy in mongoose groups and aggression is low. Sometimes, mongoose may squabble over food. However, typically, the one who claims the food first wins. Most aggression and hierarchical behavior occurs between males when females are in estrus. Females are usually not aggressive but live in hierarchies based on age. The older females have earlier estrus periods and have larger litters. When groups get too large, some females are forced out of the group by either older females or males. These females may form new groups with subordinate males. Relations between groups are highly aggressive, and mongooses are sometimes killed and injured during intergroup encounters. Nevertheless, breeding females will often mate with males from rival groups during fights. Mongooses establish the territories with scent markings that may also serve as communication between those in the same group. In the society of the banded mongoose, there is a clear separation between mating rivals and territorial rivals. Individuals within groups are rivals for mates, while those from neighboring groups are competitors for food and resources. Reproduction: unlike most other social mongoose species, all females in a banded mongoose group can breed. They all enter estrus around 10 days after giving birth, and are guarded and mated by 1 to 3 dominant males. The dominant males monitor the females and aggressively defend them from subordinates. While these males do most of the mating, the females often try to escape from them and mate with other males in the group. A dominant male will spend 2 to 3 days guarding each female. A guarding male will snap at, lunge at, or pounce on any males that come near. A non-guarding male may follow a guarding male and his female and may face this aggression. Non-guarding males mate in a more secretive way. This kind of sneaking behavior is similar to what subordinate males of the fish species Neolamprologus pulcher do. They also try to mate with females that are guarded by the dominant males. Gestation is 60 to 70 days. In most breeding attempts, all females give birth either on the same day or within a few days. Litters range 2 to 6 pups and average 4. For the first 4 weeks of life, pups stay in the dens. At this time they are guarded at the den by 1 to 3 babysitters, while the other group member go on the foraging trips. After 4 weeks, the pups are able to go foraging themselves. Each pup is cared for by a single adult escort who helps the pup to find food and protects it from danger. Pups become nutritionally independent at 3 months of age. Inbreeding avoidance. Inbreeding depression is largely caused by the homozygous expression of deleterious recessive alleles. Inbreeding depression appears to occur in banded mongooses as indicated by a decline in progeny body mass with increasing inbreeding coefficient. This finding suggests that avoiding breeding with close relatives would be beneficial. Successfully breeding pairs were found to be less related than expected under random mating. This mating bias appears to be driven by both male mate choice and female control of paternity. Both sexes of banded mongoose likely use kin discrimination to avoid inbreeding. Interspecies relations. In some locations, banded mongooses have been found in close relationship with baboons. They forage together and probably enjoy greater security as a large group because of more eyes on the lookout for predators. The mongooses are handled by baboons of all ages and show no fear of such contact. Banded mongooses have been observed removing ticks and other parasites from warthogs in Kenya and Uganda. The mongooses get food, while the warthogs get cleaned. Status and abundance. Banded mongooses lives in many of Africa's protected areas. The Serengeti of Tanzania has a density of around 3 mongooses per square kilometer. In southern KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, mongoose numbers are at a similar density at 2.4 square kilometers. Queen Elizabeth National Park has much higher mongoose densities at 18 per kilometers too. Overall, the banded mongoose tends to be more abundant in the eastern and southeastern areas of its range than in more western areas.